Hello and welcome everyone to Burton Albion England DNA. We have had a really good start to the season. As you might see up here, we are top of the league. Yeah, I've got to be honest with you, I don't know how it's happened because I was quite worried going into the start of the season because look at our fixtures here. We had Brentford early on and I just thought, okay, that's going to be a pretty tough start. And we also only beat our 21s 1-0 and we lost to Stoke 2-0 at home. Now I thought, here we go, we're going to get some punishment this season. And yet, it's been an unbelievable start. And to be fair, I could have drawn the game at Sheffield United. I decided to just still go for it. And they scored late on. I think it was a 90th minute corner. So we could be sat there with 10 points easily and being undefeated. We really could have done. I could have seen out the game if I wanted to. But I just chose to keep it as it was because we battered them. We absolutely battered them for most of the game. I think the XG was 2.47 to 0. It was less than that before the header went in. So we were doing really well. Some of you may have seen on Twitter that there's a couple of players that departed. Unfortunately, Sam Winnall retired. It was a really sad day. Sam Winnall did retire. I tried to convince him to stay, but he didn't want to, unfortunately. So Sam Winnall did retire. That was devastating for us. And the other player that's left is Callum Butch. Now, I just sold him basically because he was again struggling for his development and stuff. And I just thought it's better off just to let him go because we now have, if you look at centre-back, we've got Hamer, Hughes, Shaughnessy, Borthwick, Jackson, Oshalaja. And then we've also got 2 or 3 young centre-backs that we think can do the job, right? So I was like, he's not really going to play centre-back next year. And then even at pivot, we've got Terry Taylor-Lakin, we've got Gilligan, we've got Ronnie Wakelin, who's been doing okay as well. We've also got 2 youngsters that could go in there. So I just thought that he's never going to play. And I would rather do worse with the youngsters than to do well or better with him. So yeah, I just thought that was an easy one. We're going to do 2 games in today's episode and do the first 3-month review of the player development sort of schedule. Now, Williams come into the squad, and originally it was as a emergency, but he's 6'1", he can head the ball really well, and he's pretty quick. He can just about do enough to be like a striker off the bench. And he's come in, he's got an important goal, he's got 2 assists, and helped us get the point. So he's done really well as William. Ronnie Wakelin seems to be good enough to be an emergency pivot player. Maybe not the best, but he can play for the 21s when everybody else is fit. And that is pretty much it in terms of players leaving and players coming into the first team. We did play the entire youth team against Grimsby in the Carabao Cup, and they did win the game, the youngsters, which was good to see. I quite like him as a number 10. I think he's impressing me at the moment. I'm hoping he gets really good. I bumped him to the 21s. I still don't know whether it's better for them to play more football in the 18s or the 21s. I've stuck him in the 21s because our 21s have done well so far. So I've stuck him in there. I've stuck my better players in the 21s. But I think the coaching staff might be better in the 18s. So not sure long-term what the best way to go with that is. But that's what it is for now anyway. The board did give us... They agreed to a stadium expansion. And I think our youth recruitment, they improved as well. There was something that they accepted. Basically, I just spam request everything to do with youth football. And when they finally accept it, I forget to note down what they actually accepted. But it was the youth recruitment again that's got up to adequate now. So although our facilities are really good, the other sections aren't. And the other thing to note is that it did say that our youth facilities aren't as good as they used to be. I'm hoping that we can still upgrade these when it comes to it. So you see now it says state-of-the-art training facilities, but only superb youth facilities. Now we need to try and change that. Frustrating, we are still a Category 3 academy, and I asked them to increase the level, and they didn't. And I've made sure I've got all the staff in place to make sure that we can upgrade. And we are in a position to now. They just rejected it, basically, is what happened. And you can see the bank balance is in a much better position than it was. Projection is in the red. I don't know how, but it is. And in terms of staff then, in terms of staff in and out, I managed to promote Sean Barker to our head of youth. Now, because he's got great determination, he's got great working with youngsters, and he's got a good personality, and he's got at least one coaching category that he's good at. So I think for now, he's going to be the perfect person to use for a 5-year period. Let's keep Sean Barker for 5 years, and let's see what he does as head of youth. He's doing his pro license now, so he may get better again. Let's give him 5 years, and let's see what he can do for us over the course of the 5 years. Now, with his promotion, it means that somebody else has to go to the under-18s manager. So Chad Gribble comes in. He looks okay. 14 youngsters, 14 determination, and balanced personality. That's okay. It's not most ideal, but it'll do for now. And then Simon Wiles comes in. Again, balanced personality, working with youngsters 16 and determination 14. So we've got good working with youngsters and good determination and good discipline across the under-18s now. And some other staff have come in as well. Just basically, If a physio had 8 physiotherapy, I brought somebody in that's now got 10. Just little tweaks like that. Nothing too much really to show you. Like Tom Henderson come in. He's got 12 sports science. I think the previous first team sports scientists had 9 or 10. So just little improvements, little tweaks forwards. In terms of the first team, we brought in 2 new goalkeeper coaches. Scott Bevan and Neil Cutler both come in. Nice and good there. And Dan Michiche comes in, and he was the England youth coach for a few years. So he comes in having worked at the England DNA setup when it first started as well, which is interesting. So we get one of our England DNA coaches, one of the original coaches that was in that period. So in comes Dan to join the team as a first team coach. Right then, on that note, let's get into the actual player training development first, because it is already past the time. We're actually a week past where we would have normally reviewed it. So let's have a look at that first. I have already changed their training, but let's have a quick look then. Okay, on every player that I show you, I'm going to keep 6 months there, because that's going to be basically the back end of last season, across the pre-season, and then the start of the season, right? So I'm only going to show you the 6 month thing for a lot of the players. I think you're going to notice not a lot of change in the last 6 months because of the pre-season maybe, and the fact they had that long period off as well. But Sam Hughes, yeah, nothing really to note about there. He's still looking like a decent championship level centre-back. There's Sam Hughes, absolutely nothing changing there. Again, Tom Hamer looking okay. We'll see. I'm keep monitoring some of his things. I feel like he's dropping on some. Like, if we were to take crossing's actually gone down. So we need to keep a track of this. I said this last time, that the technical attributes I felt like were dropping a little too much at the back end of last season. And it only started happening around the back end of last season when we had the England DNA weekly schedule out for 7-8 weeks. And something I've already decided for next season, what I'm going to do is, you know how currently the schedule gets us to about mid-March, and then that's where the cycle ends. I'm going to put 2 weeks of just pre-season stuff in before the actual schedule starts. So what our week 1 and week 2 is will actually be week 3 and 4. And we'll just start it 2 weeks later, because that'll get us then into April. It just cuts down, that's an extra 2 weeks less of them having to do some other generic stuff, because in the preseason there's not too much difference. I think it's good to actually get the physical stuff into the players, obviously both in real life but in the game as well. So it's probably better off just having a full 2 weeks of just preseason stuff. I may customize it and have one of my own, might call it like England DNA preseason, or I might just use the preset. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, that's probably what we're going to do. It just gets us 2 weeks further into the season with our own training program, right, to see how we get on. And there's Hamer, acceleration, agility, which are the 2 things he's worked on so far in his personal stuff. And the rest of the physicals are dropping. Connor Shaughnessy, again, small little improvements from him, which is nice to see. Solid across the board. Actually making a slight improvements at passing, it looks like, which is nice to see. There's Shaughnessy, agility and pace moving up there. Now, Keller Dunn's been injured, but actually I did get a note about Keller Dunn. There was an inbox message saying that he'd actually made big improvements over the last 6 months as a footballer, which is good to see, because I think he was stagnated, wasn't he, and dropping, and now he's bounced back really well. I think he's really liked the new regime and the new training program. So there's your Keller Dunn. As you can see, nice improvements physically from him. Terry Taylor, right, ignoring the fact that nothing's really changed for him in the last few months, he actually went and played for Wales in their recent European Championship. He went there and played. He's now got 7 caps. He's worth nearly £5.6 million. Looks really, really good, doesn't he, Terry Taylor? He's just a legend of the club at the moment. Is he a Burton fan these days? No, but he's a Jack Serres fan, which is obviously just as important here. And yeah, he's loving it at the moment. There's Terry Taylor, our success story of the first team. Look at that. Born in Scotland, plays for Wales, and has been developed in the England DNA. Proper British player there. Charlie Lakin, looking like he stabilised and improved. You can just look at this little graph here. He's looking decent, isn't he? He's looking like he's improving slowly, but I think he's already at his maximum, really, as a player. So the fact he's even just making little improvements to the areas he's working on, that's good enough. There's Charlie Lakin for you. Johnny Smith, again, nothing too much to say about him. At least he plays well in the matches. That's the most important thing. So there aren't too many left wing backs for us to choose from. There's Johnny Smith. Joe Powell, worrying trend down. I'm really concerned about this, like back end of last season and the effect it's had, because a lot of players were really improving. They seem to have really gone down. If I was to pick like 12 months, as you can see, there's a lot more positives there than if I was to go 6. So there's Joe Powell. Again, 6 months on Victor, if you look at that, isn't great, but 12 months is a lot better. So I think we'll probably see another like rebound of positivity from now until we get to that sort of March period. And we definitely won't be repeating that same end of the season regime again. It's quite disappointing actually to see how much that's, I think, affected this. There's Victor. John King. Now that, believe it or not, don't adjust your monitors, that is his 6 month development. 6 month development. What is this attribute here? Off the ball, look at this. Look at the trajectory of that. He's gone from 8 to nearly, what is it, an 11? He's going to be close to hitting 11 really soon by the looks of it. What an unbelievable jump from John King. This is just sensational. Let's go 12 months. Look at that. That is incredible. And it's so nice to see a player that's improved that much in our training regime so far. John King has been the perfect England DNA player here at Burton in the first little bit. He's definitely by far the success story of the academy so far, with, I would say, Terry Taylor being the success story of the first team. It just goes to show that our younger players that have got room to improve, they're the ones that are really benefiting from this. And some of the older players who already have developed themselves to their sort of near their maximum, those players aren't really seeing the benefits from it, but the younger players really are, which is what this is geared towards, which makes a bit of sense. But that's good. Brilliant from John King. So I've just made sure that I'm out the way again, because I just realised I was covering the physicals. So that was John King. Okay, Lewis Maltz, he had a long-term injury, didn't he, at the back end of last season, and he's still struggling there. In fact, maybe I should move myself across another one here. There, because now you can see the player's name as well. There you go. Yeah, so he's also struggling, but it wouldn't surprise me if he retires. Maybe not this season, but the season after. Here is William then. Here's the youngster that I referred to that had been doing pretty well. As you can see, across the board looking very good. He's now working on his finishing because he's on the second section of his training program. So if he gets his finishing up to like 10, gets composure to 10, gets agility to... Well, do you know what? The rest of it's okay. Maybe get his jump and reach up to 10 as well. Could be an effective little player off the bench, you know. Kieran Gilligan has done okay in the last 6 months, stagnated a little bit, but most players have gone backwards in the last 6 months, the existing ones anyway, whereas he's done a little bit of improvement. Ronnie Waken's had like a really quiet period of improvement off camera over the last year, and as you can see there, but then if we go to the last 6 months, like everybody else, he's not really done as much, but he could be quite an effective player if he can have another jump like he did before. His dribbling of 2 is a real issue, I think, for this level, but we'll see how he goes. Bobby Campbell's really liking it at the moment. I don't know why, but he goes through these weird spells where he improves loads and then he goes back, and it's not just a rebalancing thing. Like, he does seem to really go through sprouts of, like, progression and regression, but right now he's liking it. Borthwick Jackson's just been given a new contract as an emergency centre-back, really, because he's not really improving. That's as good as he's going to get, and in fact, he's actually going backwards now, so... And that is pretty much it for the first team. Notable youngsters, Mitchell King, let's look at him first. So we can only look at all time. So he hasn't actually improved an attribute yet, according to this. But he is improving. He's had a good start. He's played all right in the 2 games that he's played for as well in the first team. Quite hopeful for him. I'm going to try and get him to the first team quite early on in his career. I think he'll be in the first team for us. I think we've got John King, Mitchell King, and then Sam Heller. Those are the 3 players I think are going to get into the first team, probably by next season. And they may not be quite ready, but we're going to have to gamble on them at some point early on. I think 18 to 19 years old is about right for us. Cameron Gilbert, last 6 months, looking really, really good, isn't he? Like, wow, his improvement's really, really good. Like, he's almost ready to be, I would say, like, our number... Like, if I was to compare him to Oshalaja, he's not that far from Oshalaja. Oshalaja has got, like, a few more things that are better than him, but Oshalaja's 31 years old. His dribbling of 4 is a real concern. Like, he could survive now in the championship, I think, Cameron Gilbert. And I didn't think he ever would. I never thought he'd be good enough to play in our team, but he's done all right. Sam Heller then, last 6 months, actually improved quite a bit, and the last 12 months, he's been very, very good. Look at that. Sam Heller really pushing to get himself into the first team. And I think towards the back end of this season, we could start to see him and Terry Taylor being the 2 pivots for us. It could really be that soon. He's looking really good. I think he deserves a chance early on for us. I'm actually quite excited about him looking at that. And for some of the other intakes for this year, it's just too early to see. It's only a few months of them actually training, isn't it? So it's too early for anybody else. But that is your first update of the season so far on the player attribute development. As mentioned, we are top of the league. We've got 3 wins and 1 defeat going into the 2 games in today's episode. We're going to play against Coventry and QPR. 2 away games. So we'll see. We could put ourselves back down to earth. If we were to get 6 points from these 2 games, we could legitimately be in a promotion race, or at the very least a playoff race, which would be ridiculous. And really concerning if we went up again. But let's not get into that. Let's worry about that if we get there. But yeah, Terry Taylor's out for this game, incidentally. So Kieran Gilligan will start there. Lewis Mott is finally back. So I'm going to move Dylan Scott back to the 21s for now. Basically, a couple of the youngsters have had different times up in the first team. He can replace him. Like Keon Baker Mackay. He came and had a couple of games for us, as you can see, because we had an injury to Keller Dunn for a few weeks. So a few of the youngsters have come up for a few weeks, play in the first team, they go back down to 21s and play there. The 21s got a pretty small squad, with all the players on the bench are ones that just aren't ever going to be in the first team. But the starting 11 have all got opportunities, I think, to get good enough to at least be a backup for us. So I think I like the spread of the squad. I mean, the 18s is a little light, but The players that I didn't sign for the 18s were absolutely nowhere near it, and probably just as bad as the players here. Like, they were like that pretty much. So, you know. Okay, let's get into today's first game then against Coventry. Coventry are currently, where are they? They are 17th, looking pretty average. We are top of the league by a clear point at the moment, which is quite funny. I think I recently got Manager of the Month and Victor got Player of the Month. Your team then is going to be Garrett in goal with Shaughnessy, Hughes and Hamer across the back three. Smith and Keller done as wing-backs. Lakin and Gilligan as your pivots. Powell as your 10 with King and Victor up front. Assistant Manager says, if you count with your opponents for the last match, you'll do well, okay. Coventry are going to play a, 5-3-2. 3-5-2, however you want to call it. Free kick for Coventry, whipped into the far post, headed towards goal. It's Calamitous, is hooked away. Godden has it, plays it to Dabo, whacks it into Herman. I'm not sure what sort of touch that was, but we get it away into John King, and that's into the highlight. Set piece here, Smith throws it into Powell, takes it back to Smith. Whacks it in far post. King, and it's in. There it is. Big John King. He hasn't scored for quite a few games. He scored the first game of the season. Hasn't really scored since, but he has now. And it's 1-0 to Burton Albion away from home against Coventry. And it's John King, the youth prospect, yet again. Well, what little set piece here. Whacked in there. Big header from John King. 1-0. Highlight for Coventry. They play it across the back to Dabo. They play it into midfield. They look to switch it out. They've got players everywhere. Godden's in. Shoots. What a save from the goalkeeper. And it's just about cleared away. It is now. Okay, we'll say things are going well. Highlight here for Coventry. They play it across the back. They're going to move it across. Play it into their striker. We're going to get to that. We're not. Can we get pressure on him? Move across. Slide across midfielders, please. They play the ball in behind Godden. He's in again. Is he going to score? Put it up from the angle. Keeper saves it just. That was a bit close, lads, wasn't it? Going to take Lakin up and put on Shaughnessy, I think, there. Then take off Lakin and put on Borthwick Jackson, left centre-back. Going to take off Keller Dunn and throw on Camworth. I'm going to take off Victor, I think, and throw on... Maybe, throw on William up front. First chance for you to see William up front. Yeah, William is actually quite good in this position when we are like a goal up and we're starting to see out the game. And he's just a threat on the counter-attack. And, that was close. Yeah, I'm actually less likely to make subs this year. I feel like that the players we've got on the pitch are actually just the best that we've got. And making more subs is very detrimental to our success on the pitch. So I'm actually, although I've been given 5 subs and I love to make subs all the time, I actually don't make them that often anymore. I'll make maybe 3. That's often what I'll do. I think only once this year I've made 4, and that's because I had an injury late on. They're going to continue their attack. Are they going to get a chance out of this? They might. Oh, they are, aren't they? They're in. Oh, it's a good challenge. Borthwick Jackson. Is it going to be our highlight after that? It could be. Oh, Powell's in. Play him in. William's in. He's in. William, the youngster. Oh, he's at the post. Oh, it's calamitous. It is 2. Oh, absolutely calamitous. William does this, right? He just causes problems. I don't know how he does it, but he causes some sort of shenanigans to happen, and he always seems to get away with it, does little William. And he should have scored it, to be fair, William, shouldn't you? You should have scored that, let's be honest. But calamitous stuff, 2-0. And 3 more points for us. Instant highlight here for Coventry. They're going to... What are they going to do with this? Doesn't really matter. They've lost the game now, surely. We should have won this game. They play it across. Goal, 2-1. King plays into Powell. Gilligan whacks into William, doesn't get there. They're going to... No, Hamer's easily got that. Plays it straight into Gilligan. Gilligan to Camworth. Camworth is going to play it. We're going to retain it across. The back are we here. Shaughnessy whacks it into no man's land. It's going to be their highlight. Well, it's not going to definitely be their highlight, but they're going to have a huge opportunity now to play out and make it their highlight. They play it long. Are we going to win this? No, they're through. Hughes. Oh, they both try and take him out. Oh, it's 2-2. It's 2-2. Okay, so finish is 2-2. I mean, it's a good result, really, for us, considering we want to make sure, first and foremost, that we stay up. That's our first sort of objective. So it's good in that sense. Being 2-0 up, though, we should have seen that out, shouldn't we? We should have seen that out, but we didn't. Okay, I'll see you in a few days for the QPR game. Okay, for I think only the second time this season, I'm going to have the full first team available. Terry Taylor's back in, Lakin's back in, everybody's back for this. Let's get into the game against QPR, and hopefully we can get a win. We are still top of the league, though, interestingly. Joint top on 10 points. Assistant manager says, recent praise is justified. Okay, they're playing a narrow 4-3-3 effective with 2 10s and a striker there. The reason that we are top of the league is that it's just a really weird scenario where everybody's beating everybody in the in the championship. Like, even drawing right now, we're still top. Like, none of the teams that are within 3 points of us are winning or anything. Or within, well, it'd be 2 points. Yeah, it's just really interesting. Everybody is beating everybody. So, I mean, if there was ever a year to get into the playoffs and go up, like cheaply as in before we're really supposed to, it would be this year. And I'm not saying it would be necessarily the best thing for us as Victor scores. What? Oh, he's offside, isn't he? What header that was. I'm not sure if it's the best thing for us as a team, as a club, and as a project long term, but Premier League would be amazing. Okay, halftime, let's say fans. Go and do it for the fans. Seppi's power whips it in, far post, headed away. John King gets to it first, plays it across the box, it's been headed away. QPR on the counter-attack, they're in. They were through 1v1, and they're going to score. They do, and it's 1-0. Going to take off Keller and throw on Camwa, because he's playing terribly. And I think that's the only one for now. I like for QPR. Let's see what they do with this. They go long. Can we peel into space here? Okay, so I have to go up for that. Doesn't quite get there. Victor does. It's in there. John King's in. Oh, I'm not sure what that was, but it was terrible. Okay, when I want to go more attacking without really making it ridiculous, this is what I do first. I just go wide centre back attack both sides and Segundo Volante attack. Before I go into the 4-2-4, for example, I'll just do this. And I'm going to bring on Lewis Moult off the bench, I think, for a first start of the season because of his long-term injury he had back in the last season. And let's take off Lakin and throw on Kieran Gilligan as well. Corner for QPR, whipped in towards the near post, headed towards goal, and it's over the bar. Lay highlight, Smith throws it into Powell, back to Smith, whips it in, up to Lewis Moult, headed away, headed towards the goal again. They've given it away, what they're doing. Oh no, what's happened here? Oh no, Victor, what are you doing? Oh, he's elbowed him in the face. Oh, Victor, come on. There's a time and place for that, and it's not 1-0 down. And unfortunately, that's going to end the episode with a 1-0 defeat to QPR. We'll say unlucky. It was unlucky. We had a really good start. You know, we can't really complain too much. We're going to end the episode still in the playoffs, despite the fact that we picked up only the 1 point in the 2 games. We're still third as well. I'm telling you, everybody is beating everybody. It's quite interesting. Like, Hull have played 5. They're undefeated, but they've drawn 2 games. Preston have lost 1 and drawn 2 of their 6. So, a lot of teams only played 5, though, so we are going to get caught up a little bit here and move back towards the middle of the table. But that's a good start still. I'm so happy with that as a start overall. I'd have taken this if you offered it to me. If you offered me 10 points in the first 6 games, I definitely would have taken that going into to this episode. So I just expected this to have started off slower and then gone better, but it is what it is. Okay, the next episode is a pretty simple one for us. I think we'll come back for what should we do here? Let's do something different. Let's go Huddersfield, and then let's do the attribute reveal, and let's finish off with a game with Wigan. So we do 2 games either side of the attribute reveal this time. We'll do Huddersfield and Wigan. Nice little load of games there to get through and let us know where we are. I mean, we could be in a real relegation fight. We could be comfortably mid-table, and we could be in a playoff race. It could be any of those 3. And to be honest, we're not really going to find too much out until we get to that point anyway. So perfect time to come back for is those 2 games right there. That is going to do the episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this series. This squad is developing nicely. We've now got 2 less players from the original team than we had before in terms of Sam Winnell and in terms of Callum Butcher. We've replaced them with youngsters, which is nice to get some new players and new players to be involved in the story and that type of thing, right? So that's really good. Hopefully more new gen players coming through and hopefully better new gen players coming through in the youth intakes with better staff, better facilities, and hopefully a better youth level coming up soon. But that is going to do the episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.